Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this regular public meeting of the Dieppe City Council. We apologize for the short delay, but we're ready for the regular meeting. So, for the opening word, dear colleagues, let's have the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Without any further delay, confirmation of the quorum by the clerk. We have a quorum. Is there any conflict of interest? None. On that, we'll continue with the adoption of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Cormier, seconded by Councillor Leblanc, that we adopt the agenda as presented. So, on the question, none. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded nay. So the agenda is adopted as presented. This brings us immediately to item 7 for the presentation. 7.1 inquiries by council members for the Kodiak Regional RCMP. And I think Inspector Rolet is with us, as it has become a habit. Good evening, Your Worship and dear councillors. Good evening, Mr. Rolet. Councillors, do you have any question for Mr. Jolet tonight? No? So we'll continue. Thank you for your presence. Do you have anything to add, Mr. Jolet? I just wanted to talk once again about the road inspection. That's something we have close to our heart. And some people talk to the councillors, so we're continuing to work and regularly patrol the area. That's something we started doing last week to send officers in each shift of work in the key area, especially those who reported or made some complaints. So some are more at risk. We know the normal areas, but other places, are more at risk. Thank you very much once again for your excellent cooperation, and we hope it will continue. But you're welcome to stay with us if you so wish. But I know you have more things to do. Thank you. Good evening. 7.2. Urban Guidance, Mr. Frenet. Presentation, I believe. There. Thank you very much. Your Worship, Councillors, tonight I want to present to you a project that we've submitted jointly with the school district and the seniors committee of the city of Dieppe. It's an interesting project. It's a sidewalk project. It's with Uni Corporation. Competition, a contest came out about 3 or 4 weeks ago where they identified 5 regions in New Brunswick with a possibility of a scholarship of $50,000 in each of the 5 regions. If you go on the Uni website, you'll see the finalists. In total, there were 165 submissions, and some names were chosen. As I said, there's 15 projects in all in 5 regions, so each region could have the possibility of winning a bursary or scholarship up to a maximum $50,000. And the project that we've proposed is quite unique in itself. It's during a day in September. I was at my office. I was looking through the window, and it so happened that the employees from the municipal installation were cleaning the annual plants and that were growing all over the place on the sidewalk. And by seeing that, I said, the city invested, and it's normal to invest money to upgrade its image, but at the end of the day, what do? We pick up the flowers and we throw them away. I said there should be a way of having an added value to the investment that we make. And it happens often that I have some ideas. Sometimes they're not good, but sometimes I have to discuss with other people. It so happened one of my colleagues with whom I talked some projects with him, but look at the shower. I said to look, there should be a way of having an added value with the investment that we make. And that's where, by proposing my idea, I said if we could replace part of the flowers by some plants, whether it's plants that would, well, have fruits or vegetables, and with the harvest, we could probably give it to the food bank. And a few weeks later, Uni made a presentation that said, here's our opportunity to present a project. So I contacted the different Mrs. Schofield from the district office, from the Southeast French district, and she spoke with all the representatives from the different schools. And with the money, if we win the $50,000, it would be to take that money and to build some nursery. Each junior high school from India would have a nursery where the students could learn how to grow these plants. And the school chosen would be Anoman Enfants, Sainte Thérèse, Le Marais, and Lumi McClellan. By talking the Anglophone school, sometimes we don't integrate them in our projects. It would be a good thing of being inclusive because it's a community project. And as far as the students, it could become a learning project. It would become kind of an educational lab. It would allow them to acquire, first of all, to practice activities outside. Secondly, to develop cooperation between colleagues, to learn how to grow some vegetables. How can I say? Uh, what we lose over the years. It's knowledge that is perceived. It would become a pride for them and the feeling of giving to others. And it is scientifically proven that there is a therapeutic feelings for stress by working in a garden. So I have a young child at home, a young boy. It has to move, and in a classroom, it's not always obvious to be sitting down all day long. It would allow the young people to practice agriculture, farming. Following that, sorry, since the school ends at the end of June approximately, during the growing season, we could grow the produce, not onions. We could probably plant them back inside on the territory of the municipalities at different areas. And the Dwaron House could be an interesting area to have a garden. And maybe we could plant these. We were talking about the educational aspect, and the newcomers would be a way of having plants grow from other countries. So it could become pedagogical, educational, and it from a native country and to use it. As for the senior committee was approached, and it would be in partnership. When we talk about adding social aspect, it would be a way for them to work on that project and intergenerational with people from the schools. Therefore, the next step, as I said, there was 165 uh, submitters, were one of the 15 from the area and one of the three in Southeast. The next step, we are presently at the step of voting step since this morning, and it's from the 9th to 16th of November. and each member of UNI can vote once a day, and as many emails that they have, as many times they can vote, and they'll choose a big winner based on vote. And the site for the vote is on the screen. If you go on uni.ca on the first page of the website, all the information is there, and you can. It's really a project with the seniors committee and the school district and the city of Dieppe. And I will conclude by saying that on the social media, Le Marais has already published pages for the people to encourage people to vote. It's three excellent projects in the southeast area, and for us, the communication sector will be doing the same thing in the days to come. They'll add some information also to invite people to vote, how to vote, and there will be a synthesis of the project, the summary of the project per se. There's a good summary on the site, on the Uni site. But that's when we see how the headlines it will be presented in partnership with the communication service. I don't know if you have any question, but it was simply to present to you the project now. Should we not win the anniversary, we can decide if we go on with the project on a smaller scale. But the amount of $50,000 per se is important. There's no amount that would go to the city. 100% of the money would be given to the school. The construction of the room, equipment, and everything else. Thank you. Question from the councillors? No question? Just want to add that maybe something we could add. It's a link with our friend from Dieppe in France because they have spaces like that all over the place on the street. So everybody walking downtown in Dieppe, and they have produce, fruits and vegetables. Maybe it's something that another Dieppe is doing, and that's another link, another relationship we would have with them. If there's no question or comments, we will proceed with the next one. Is a presentation from Mr. Luc Richard on public transit. Mr. Richard?
Alors, bonsoir, Monsieur le maire, membre du conseil. Donc, le but de la présentation de ce soir, c'est une courte
The
présentation.
purpose of presentation tonight is a short one, but it's to tell you the changes as to the frequency. It starts on November the 15th, and also to follow up on the budgetary discussion and the different scenario that was presented by public transit and tell you where we're at with all that. Just to put in context, if I may, the level of service and where we're at, what is being planned for 2021. As you can see on the chart, there's a reduction of hours of service, but it's the same thing with Moncton and review. So for 2021, as of November the 15th, it represents 70% of the level of service where we were. As for the annual budget, we're at the same amount. However, the cost per hour increases because of COVID. That is very important. As for the level of service, about the level of service, the table that you see is to give you an overview of the differences. What is planned for 2021 is that for the time being, we wouldn't have service on Sunday with Kodiak Transit. We come back from Monday to Saturday, but the list of service increases. Right now, we don't have service in the middle of the day or at night, our service from 10 to 3 o'clock or 3:30, but as of November the 15th will be added, and a few hours at night is being added. So as for the frequency, since COVID, we had decrease of 3 hours. We had made some improvements at the busy time with COVID. There were some reductions, not only Dieppe, elsewhere also. So what we have with the budget in 2021, as of November the 15th, we come back to a frequency of 30 minutes on the 93rd, which is the same level as COVID with the 94 and 93. There is a frequency that would be there at 60 minutes. It's not ideal for time being. That is what is being planned. The process was not obvious because the calculation formula per se, the cost for cardiac transit is very complex. We've been working for a few years to simplify everything, but it's very difficult. And we needed several things to try. There's very little time to look at all of that. And what make it that what we have today is what we've presented. There's an increase of the level of service that go up to 70% of the service. And we recognize that you mentioned the intention of being able to have service on Sunday. We're studying that option. We're not saying it cannot be done. We're not saying that, but there is a solution. We'll come back to the council to present you with an idea very shortly. As I mentioned, proposal for service on Sunday. We come back to you with that. And we learned recently that we have two old buses. They're at the end of their life. So maybe we'll have a reduction of the fleet. We were at four, maybe we'll be down to two. And if we have money, maybe three, we'll have major decision to make. And we're analyzing a very new idea, but something that is not on the slide. It is the shelter, the bus shelter. We have two, and we hope that they will be arriving in the middle of December, and the installation is being planned to be ready. We plan about two areas with the Uniplex and the co-op. That's two areas where we'll have a bus shelter at the end of the survey, community survey that we did at the end of October on bus shelter. We had a good participation from the public. We're analyzing that report to be able to readjust the plan of attack for next year. The last thing is that we're still working on a reference with Thursday. It's going ahead very well. We've had discussion this morning. Some discussions are going ahead, and we'll hope to be able to come back with some references before the end of the year for consultation purpose. So that's pretty well what I wanted to tell you tonight. If there's any comments or questions, we're open to answer them. Question, thank you, Mr. Richard. Any questions from the councillors? I don't see any light. Mr. Thibodeau, thank you, Your Worship. When you talk about Sunday, there's no service and there won't be any service. But you want to present something shortly? Asking a confirmation for November the 15th. Between now and the 15th of November, we'll have that scenario. No, on November the 15th, it's decided. It's what I was explaining. As soon as we had the presentation of the budget and the time we had to decide, there was very little time. But tonight, as for the level of service and an increase, a bonification of service up to 70%, because we were at 50% before COVID, there was an increase to 70%. That is similar to what is going on in Moncton and Riverview. But the logistic of coordinating all of that was in discussion with Kodiak Transit. And on the question of Sunday, there are suggestions that will come back on the, if not 23rd, December the 7th. we must have service on Sunday because some people work on Sunday, so we need the service on Sunday. When we talk about reduction of the fleet, is it because two buses are too old and have to be replaced? It's like anything else. We have surprises. We had two here. The annual inspection are coming up, and we have to make a decision on the question of Sunday. We think we have a scenario that would be better than what we had before COVID. So we'll present something to you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you for your presentation. And we'll talk about public transit very shortly. 7.4 presentation of the master plan, fire department. Mark Cormier. Thank you, Your Worship, members of council. Second time, one night, the first for me. I will make a public presentation of our master plan for the fire department for 2020 to 2024. The basic objective of our plan is to increase the growth of the fire department. We went into a service a few years ago where it was volunteer firemen, a service of volunteer and a career fireman, then to open a second fire department headquarters in the last 10 years. With the plan, we want to be able to help us with the efficiency, the increased efficiency of the fire department and the efficiency of human, financial service and technological. The process that brought us here today is with our consultant, where we went to get with the situation in the city of Dieppe with the fire department. But the master plan, a document of 80 pages, is essentially a picture of the situation that exists today, an inventory of the territory on the risk, human resources, equipment, training, and protocol of the fire department. And essentially, it's a point of reference for the management of the service to be able to go forward. The strategic plan, if you remember, with our consultant, we went to get what is the vision of the council and the vision of the head of the service. But for us, the strategic plan is a working plan for the management of the service. The action plan that will follow in the years to come would be how can we reach our objective. And that's where we will involve our firemen from the fire department. All our employees have received the same presentation during the week. During the week. Today in our fire department, the great part is the knowledge of the territory. They know the territory. I mean, the highway, the Peconiac River, the risks that are associated to our work. We have a good knowledge of the area that is being deserved, and we know where our nursing homes are, our schools, our businesses, and the risks that are associated to a fire. We have equipment of quality and the highest technology. Our firemen are trained, their knowledge and the quality of our interventions is a good result. The master plan is a 7th chapter. On the slide, I have 5, and there's we've some. The chapter 1 is the inventory of the risk for the territory. When I talk about the risk, I don't talk about the risk of fire, but also civility. Chapter 2, which is the history of the data of the fire. It's included in the document. It's with the history. We'll be able to develop the training and establish budget. Consequently, chapter 3 talk about classification of building in our territory could be classified according to the standard of the Canadian Building Code. And with the risk that we are faced with, we will improve our protocol, and there are prevention activities that are planned. I'm not talking only about firemen, but about the citizens of the city of Dieppe that want to participate in the development of preparation activities for the prevention of fire and what to do in case of a serious tragedy. And finally, we've identified the issues and the strategic issues, objectives. There are three of them. Our strategic priorities, we will aim on the prevention of risk. Here I talk not only about fire, but all the risks that are associated with the city of Dieppe. And we will offer services that are adapted to the citizens and also perform for the citizens will be more efficient in our operation. So I'll talk a little bit about the priorities, more details. The first one is prevention of risk. In the next 5 years, 4 years maybe, well, in the next 4 years, we will have a census and analyze the risk in the city of Dieppe. We can depend on the stakeholders. We can also depend on the municipal organization, which is functional, operational, on emergency measures. And we talk about a pandemic or major disaster that can affect the citizens as a whole. We'll implement a prevention program to inspect on a yearly basis efficient to building at a high risk. We talk about schools, business, industries with high risk to be able to better answer the intervention that we intend to have. Adapt a local program education awareness to the prevention of fire, the civil safety to bonify a education program with the public with an objective to reduce the fire and injuries related to these events. Adapt a municipal regulation on prevention of fire, including a bylaw. This is for certain services that are offered for the fire department. There would be a possibility of getting receiving disbursement for the service that is being offered. Priority number two, that we've identified to offer services adapted to the need of the citizen. We will try to have passive, will involve the citizen, in other words, to implement things at home, in their household, to protect themselves against a fire. And also additional prevention approach, identify sectors that are far away and difficult of access. So we'll also identify the territories where our people are living and where our people of risk are, including immigrants, children, or old age people, and to have automatic deployment of services in the and with the special aspect of the service, have an adaptive inspection for the training for the staff to ensure the health, their safety, and their well-being. And also, we want to develop and implement a formal communication plan supported by the Technological Office in order to keep our citizens informed in case of a tragedy or major disaster. Priority three is to work at the profit of the citizen and have a master plan is to have an analysis program with the data that exists on our intervention, our measures and of our inspections, and also report that would be completed by our captain, and also to have inquiries for fire, implement structure of operation of fire based on the best practice that exists presently, and increase the performance of the fire department and field of mobilization and the use of human resources and funding to increase the degree of commitment of the citizen that are being served, the municipality and surrounding and other partners in the issue of fire security safety. As you know, on October 26th, we presented the headlines from the consultant. On November the 2nd, we completed 4 presentations internally. And tonight, we are making a presentation to the public here to have the master plan adopted by the council, and we will start for the next 4 years to develop plan of action with our employees and to come back with follow-up as we move ahead. Any question? Any question from the councillors? Your worship. Question? Mr. No, and then Mr. Brideau. Thank you, Your worship. Just a small question. If you need to make an adjustment to your plan, can you do it automatically? You won't be stopped from doing it. Our plan is flexible. We'll adjust accordingly depending on the circumstance. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Arsenault, Mr. Brideau. Thank you, worship. Monsieur Mark, I have a concern. I'd like to know, when you talk in your proposal, prevention measures as far as safety is concerned, what I want to know in commercial building that are considered to be at risk or possibly hazardous or dangerous because of the work they're involved in. You have ways of knowing if some hazardous product go into these business and it happens after your inventory. Do you have a way of knowing what comes into the city, what is happening? I ask myself, the famous accident that happened in Quebec with the train where the city almost disappeared. Well, we in Dieppe, is there places like that that are considered possibly dangerous? To answer your question, Councillor, on a regular basis, we receive an inventory of hazardous products that are sent to the city of Dieppe by the railway companies, the non-conformity to the fire code are done during inspection, and with our inspection program, we'll go get these inventory in a high risk or very high risk, and we'll be able to identify the non-conformity. Fine, thank you. Thank you very much. Somebody do anyone else? I see no other request or question. Thank you for your presentation. And keep your good work. Number 8, question by the members of the public. Did we receive anything? No question? Okay. No question, no answer. Item 9, adoption of the minutes of the regular council meeting of October 26th. We have a motion moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Arsenault. Do we accept the minutes of the meeting of October 26th? On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. So the minutes of the meeting of October 26 is adopted. So we go to item 10.1, administration, 10.1.1, Greater Mountain Pest Control Commission transfer of, good evening, your worship, members of council, members of public. And first file, as you know, Dr. Louis Lapierre is about to retire, and to prepare that event for Mr. Lapierre, we have to adjust ourselves. So discussion with the city of Dieppe, Mountain and Riverview to find a replacement, and the activities of the pesticide be transferred to the regional services and be under their sponsorship, and benefits have been and advantages the integration of that service with them, such as the administration, human resources, finance, and everything else, and the infrastructure for the administrative operation. You have a series of whereas with a resolution at the end of the document to undertake that initiative and to see that the transfer be implemented on January the 1st, 2021. Louis Lapierre will maintain cooperation on the availability for 2021 to make a transfer of knowledge, and he put himself available with the passion that we know of him to continue the transfer of knowledge. The city of Riverview and Moncton are doing the same thing, and we have an agreement in principle for the reading of the resolution. Mr. Cormier. Your worship. Whereas the Greater Mountain Pest Control Commission and the predecessor, the Greater Mountain Pest Control Authority, the Greater Mountain Mosquito Control Authority, has been in existence for over 60 years, whereas the Greater Mountain Pest Control Commission is almost solely funded by the City of Moncton, the City of Dieppe, and the Town of Riverview. Whereas the Greater Mountain Pest Control Commission is considered a committee of the councils of the City of Moncton, the City of Dieppe, and the Town of Riverview. Whereas Dr. Louis Lapierre has been the General Director of the Executive and Management Committee and has played a key role and been at the center of the important decision making and the operation of the Greater Mountain Pest Control Commission for at least 40 years. Whereas Dr. Louis Lapierre has indicated to the City of Moncton, the City of Dieppe, and the Town of Riverview that he wishes to retire and no longer wishes to be the General Director of the Executive and Management Committee of the Greater Mountain Pest Control Commission. Whereas the City of Moncton, the City of Dieppe, and the Town of Riverview wish that going forward, the services of the Southeast Regional Service Commission be retained to provide the services and expenses that were up to now provided by the Greater Moncton Pest Control Commission. Whereas the City of Moncton, the City of Dieppe, and the Town of Riverview have agreed that the annual financial contribution up to now provided to this Greater Mountain Pest Control Commission would be provided to the Southeast Regional Service Commission. Whereas the City of Moncton, the City of Dieppe, and the Town of Riverview have agreed that the Greater Mountain Pest Control Commission be dissolved, given that the Southeast Regional Service Commission will provide the services and expertise that were up to now provided by the Greater Mountain Pest Control Commission. And whereas the City of Moncton, City of Dieppe, and the Town of Riverview agree that the money remaining in the Greater Mountain Pest Control Commission, the possession of accounts, and everything else of Southeast Regional Services Commission for the services and expertise to be provided. Be it resolved that the Greater Mountain Pest Control Commission being a committee of council, be dissolved as of December the 31st, 2020. Be it further resolved that the money remaining in the Greater Mountain Pest Control Commission possession and accounts and any other assets remaining in the possession of the Greater Mountain Pest Control Commission be transferred to the Southeast Regional Service Commission as of December the 31st, 2020. I so move. Moved by Councillor Cormier, seconded by Councillor Godet. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded nay. Carried as presented. Thank you. Thank you to Andre Frenet. I believe he's probably one person who started the idea that it be transferred to the Southeast Services. Community Development and Municipal Performance for Canada Day of 2021. We want to recommend to Heritage Canada celebrate. We have $23,500. That is 50% of the budget for the activity. So it's to have a resolution from the council to put forward the request for the reading. Madame Leboutier, thank you, Worship. Council authorized the Chief Administrative Officer Clerk to sign the Canadian Heritage Funding application to the Celebrate Canada Program 2021 edition. I so move. Moved by Councillor Leboutier, seconded by Councillor Arsenault. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried as presented. Item 10.3. While I'm talking, when I think about it, I want to talk about the budgetary process, what is coming before we go to the different resolution. Good evening, one and all. In a few minutes, we will go to a vote to adopt the budget for the municipality for the year 2021 before we go forward. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to share with you the headlines. As you know, the year 2020 was a very special year because of the COVID-19 pandemic that is worldwide, even if we're in a good position in Dieppe to face that pandemic when our income depend very little to the user fees. We had to make certain decisions to maintain a surplus for this year as not being able to fill certain vacant position. All in all, the impact of COVID-19 on the finance of the municipality was really not so bad. We present you a budget as if it was a normal year, but may it be known that the municipal management is ready to adjust their area no matter what situation we're in, yellow, orange, or red. I don't wish this on anyone. Before I go into the detail of the budget, I would like to thank the staff for the preparation of that budget and the members of budget for the attention that they brought to it, and to thank all these people. The documents that we are presenting tonight, a document that reflects the priorities, the opportunities for the city of Dieppe. In 2021, in 2020 rather, we had an increase in our tax pipes of 0.75%. Even though that increase is lesser than previous years, we have to say that the residential sector as such has had success with an increase of 4%. Thanks to our financial plan that exists and a responsible management of our finance, I have the pleasure of announcing that we will not increase the property tax for 2021. This one will remain. at $1.62.95 for each $100 of evaluation. And I think people have already received their tax bills, or the tax is coming, but the evaluation, the amount of evaluation that we've received from the province uh, was a change in the preparation of budget in order that the municipality could submit the budget before the end of the year, before the end of December. So similarly, we will keep the same rate for the first time since 2008 for water and sewage, the same uh, rate, $948 per year. Dieppe has a great growth for businesses and the families seeking for a stable environment, safe, dynamic, and that's why they choose to settle here. The opening of Uniplex in the next few weeks before the end of November, that beautiful, great project, greatest of history, is a sign of our vitality as a community and our dynamism. There was the official opening of the Tuaron House at Jewel, an experience that must not be missed. It keep on moving in spite of the different restrictions that are imposed by the pandemic. For the new things to come in 2021, there will be the creation of a few new positions that were not fulfilled in 2020. There will be the creation also of the improvement of signage downtown and a new website for the municipality. We will redo also the service of some tennis court and field, sports field along the branch line. The objective is to make this more accessible and to allow a snow plow, for instance, to be able to drive over it. There's several road projects planned for 2021 and an investment of $1.2 million in our micro surfacing. A portion of Burke Road will be rebuilt for a total of $3.1 million. This is phase one of two phases of that important project. We will also proceed on the traffic light on Boulevard Dieppe and work in downtown in relationship with the Lino Gauvin project and the rebuilding of a portion of Melanson Road. All of that is possible thanks to a healthy and efficient management of our municipal finance. I want to tell you that we will prove vigor in our decision making process to assure the well-being of our citizens. On that, we'll proceed now to eventually to a vote of the municipal budget project. Without any further delay, to talk about it a little bit more, Mr. Manager, for the general operation budget for item 10.3.1. You have in front of you the general operating fund budget and then the general operating for water sewage. The resolution is clear and bear your message. Thank you for the reading of the different items. Mr. Leblanc, thank you, Your Worship. That council resolved that the sum of 59,725.97 for the local government total budget, that the sum of 53,723,814 be the warrant of local government for the ensuing year, and that the tax rate be $1.6295 for the app and $52.95 for Dieppe outside exterior, and that council order and direct the levying by the Minister of Environment and Local Government of said amount of real property liable to taxation under the Assessment Act within the local government of Dieppe. I so move, your worship. Moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Cormier. On the question, no question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded say nay. Resolution, the budget is approved. Now for item 10.3.2, 1.2 for the water and wastewater disposal operating. You're also on the budget of 14,500,000 you've established for the water and the water waste. We established a rate in the making of the result for the adoption for tonight for the reading. Mr. Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. That council accept pursuant to Article 117.4 of the Local Government Act that the total water and wastewater disposal operating budget for the coming year will include revenues of 13,565,626 and expenditures of 13,565,826 and pursuant to the bylaw respecting the water and sewerage, the user of charge per unit of the year be as follows. 476 water utility, $472 for the wastewater disposal service. That the metered water's rates for the year 2021 be $1.9116 per cubic meter, and the user charge of the wastewater disposal service for metered customer for the year 2021 be equal to a percentage of the amount of water rate. This percentage being determined by a rate of the current wastewater disposal rate to the current water rate. The calculation provides this with a mere charge of the wastewater disposal of 1.5996 per cubic meter for the year 2021. As well moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Alcino on the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded say nay. Motion is adopted as presented. Item 10.3.2 for capital work program. Here also on a total of $11,985,000. A program that's proposed for 2021. We have the fund source that have been identified by operating, by capital, and the gas tax, and so different external sources that contribute for projects, and our reserves total 11,500,000, and we have asked $1,900,000 as for approval. Thank you. For the reading of the resolution, Mr. Cadet. Your Worship, that Council authorize an application to borrow the sum of $1,950,000 be submitted to the Municipal Capital Borrowing Board in order to finance the following projects. General capital budget projects, general administration service, land purchase, $465,000, recreational and cultural services, recreational facilities, 75,000, transportation related service, infrastructure, various street, $10,650,000 for a total of $11,185,000. Source of funds, 2021, general operating budget, $5,359,778. General capital borrowing, transportation related services, $1,950,000. 2021 gas tax grant, $1,828,722. Contribution other organizations, $1,687,500. General capital reserve, $359,000 for a total of $11,185,000. Water and wastewater disposal capital budget projects, environmental hygiene service, water and wastewater disposal infrastructure, 2,900,000 for a total of 2,900,000. Service of fund, 2021 water and wastewater disposal operating budget, $929,000. Water and disposal and hygiene service, $0. Water and wastewater disposal capital reserve, $213,500. Contribution other organization, $1,757,500 for a total $2,900,000 at an interest rate to be determined by the board for a period of 15 years for the general capital budget and 20 years for the water and wastewater disposal capital budget, and that council authorized the city of Dieppe to borrow on an interim basis an amount not to exceed $1,950,000 at the prime lending rate until long-term financing be arranged. I so move. Moved by Councillor Gadet, seconded by Councillor Leblanc on the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. This brings us to 10.3.2.2 for the capital project program, project list. Now that you've approved the program as a whole, now you have a little bit more details on the project list. The resolution is quite clear to read it so the public can see the projects that are being planned. To read this, Madame Levoutier. Thank you, Worship. The Council authorized the following project within the 2021 capital project programs. General capital budget, 1, land purchase, 2, courts and parking lots, phases, Gauvin block. 3, Melanson Road construction and trail addition. 4, Burke Road reconstruction and addition, phase 1 and 2. Acadie Avenue construction condition, traffic light addition, Dieppe, funding program trails, funding program micro surfacing, funding program strategic project, equipment replacement program, water and wastewater disposal capital budget, the water main and sanitary sewer addition, Melanson Road, water main addition, Burke Road, water main and sanitary sewer replacement, Acadie Avenue, conditional, and 4, equipment replacement program. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Lemoutier, seconded by Councillor Brido. On the question. Question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. That brings us to 10.4.1, adoption of the master plan for the fire department. I think I have nothing to add. Everything is complete. And it is being attached to the strategic plan for the municipality. It's a matter of adopting it by council. For the reading, Mr. DeWindo, please, for the reading. Thank you, Your Worship. That council adopt the Dieppe Fire Department 2020-2024 master plan and authorize the management of said department to proceed with the development of various action plan in order to achieve the goals set out in the above mentioned master plan. I so moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Arsenault on the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded nay. Carried as presented. 10.5.1 snow removal contract. It's not something we like to hear today or tomorrow, but talk to the people from Western Canada. So to maintain the level of service that we have within the municipality, and the staff will be coming to make a presentation of snow removal on the road and the trails. You have in front of you some new equipment with nurture construction. So this is what is recommended by the staff to maintain a program, the level of service for snow removal. Thank you for the reading of the resolution. Mr. Leblanc. Your worship. I'd rather talk about mosquitoes than snow, but that council approve additional service for two pieces of equipment, the same condition and out the existing snow removal contract with Birchill Construction at the hourly rate of 85 plus HST and authorize this signature be taken from account 1-2-35-65-2650 general operating budget, snow removal as moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Cormier on the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded nay. Carried as presented. I just want to make a comment, make sure. I know we've had a lot of complaints every year in recent years in cul-de-sac in certain subdivision or in that and that is this will be part of the discussion for presentation to come of that challenge. The members of council can ask a question in 2 weeks, and it's part of the snow removal project. Now this brings us to, excuse me, we're talking about the PAC recommendation. Mr. Melanson, the tender plan Jardin Beau Soleil subdivision following a planning advisory commission. We want to have the approval where they planned extension of new streets, creation of 6 public street and a public utility property, and also a servitude, municipal servitude area. The resolution it mentioned the name of the 6 streets that are followed: Bravo, Delta, Foxtrot, India, Julia, and Kilo. So it is recommended by the PAC committee. So it'll be given to the subdivision committee to pursue. For the reading of the resolution, Ms. Arsenault. Thank you, Your Worship. That council accept the Planning Advisory Committee's recommendation relating to the acceptance of the Jardin Beau Soleil subdivision unit 6 tentative plan, which provides for the extension of the 2 public street, the creation of 6 public street, location of the land of the public purpose, and a municipal assessed easement. That council further accept to name the said new streets Bravo, Delta, Foxtrot, India, Juliet, and Kilo. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Arsenault, seconded by Councillor Gadet. On the question. Question. All those in favor say aye. Sorry. Madame Leboutillier, you have questions? Yes, thank you, Your Worship. Has to do with the plan. By the way, it seems that the map disappears. The Bravo Street, the street called Bravo. There's a loop, and I have a hard time to conceive. Bravo, you fall in a loop, and then we join Juliet. It's the identification because in a dead end, it should be the same name of the street. Juliet, well, Juliet rather, sorry. Not, it, then you have Kilo, and further down you have Bravo again. Would you look at that? It's not major, it's only named for identification purpose.
On va pouvoir regarder puis valider là, avec le
We'll
serveur.
look and be able to validate with the engineering department and the fire department. We had the same problem with Lorette.
Le plan est tellement gros, je m'excuse.
Another, the plan is so huge that we can't necessarily see it, but I'll make note of it, and we will validate that they can that the streets be in the proper places.
OK, merci. Alors,
Thank you.
j'aimerais qu'on voit quand même une confirmation au niveau du conseil
I wish we would see a confirmation
à un moment donné sur cette
on
question-là.
that question.
Peut-être pas de problème à accepter.
Maybe we don't have problem to accept the resolution for the time being, but
On vérifie la distribution de
you should
titres.
check out the title. It'll be followed. There'll be a follow-up.
Merci, ceci étant
Thank you.
dit, est-ce qu'il y a d'autres
That being
questions?
said, any further question? Any more question?
Alors, sont en
So,
faveur
all those in
du
favor,
principe,
in principle,
qui est là par le
say aye.
du contraire,
Contrary-minded, nay.
et on va continuer à avancer
We'll
dans
continue.
le processus en question. Prochain item.
Next item.
Oui, l'arrêté municipal à 11.
Municipal bylaw 11.1. Your worship, you have a summary. We did validation on Belfort Street. Instead of going to 90 meters, we adjusted it at 140 meters to reflect reality and have a better search. And there was another challenge on Frederick Street. You were able to see that we added the parking on the south side, 70 meters inland, and on the daycare, and we took advantage of the opportunity to. These are the two adjustments following the first and second reading. So, for the reading, summary reading, Monsieur Leblanc, don't be shy.
Merci, Monsieur le maire.
Your worship,
Arrêté numéro 6.
bylaw number C-1, bracket 1-2020, a bylaw relating to traffic and parking in the city of Dieppe. Pursuant to the authority vested it by the local government RSNB 2017 Chapter 18, the Motor Vehicle Act, RSNB 1973 Chapter M17 Council of Municipality, duly assembled in acts as follows. The section and schedule of bylaw C1 1-2020 remain unchanged from those set forth in bylaw C1 2020 adopted on October 13, 2020, except for the following amendments to Schedule A entitled Prohibited Parking. Amendment to Section 11, Belfort Street A. At any time, both sides, from Irab Street for a distance of 140 meters to Dieppe Boulevard. And addition of Section 30 Frederick Street A. At any time, south side from Amiro Street easterly for a distance of 70 meters. I so move, but in summary, Your Worship, thank you for that summary reading. Moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Cormier. On the question,
Une question. Alors,
the question, all those in favor, say aye.
L'avis contraire par
Contrary minded, nay.
l'arrêté
So, bylaw C1,
-2000
bracket 1-2020, traffic and parking in the city of Dieppe was adopted in summary. And for the third reading by title only, please, Your Worship. Bylaw C-1, bracket 1-2020, traffic and parking of the city of Moncton for the city of Dieppe. I move third reading by title only. Moved by Councillor Leblanc, seconded by Councillor Cormier on the third and final reading.
sur la question.
On the question,
Encore une fois, aucune question.
no question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay.
L'arrêté,
So, bylaw once again, C1 dash 2020 is adopted in third and final reading. Thank you. Now we bring us to our period of the time for the councillors, 4 minutes each. We'll start with Mr. Godet. I would like to mention for the former students of Vanier School, it was our first Francophone school in southeast New Brunswick. It was built in 1963. A monument was unveiled today on the George Dumont Hospital property up to the entrance. It's a monument that describes what the fight that went on at that time by parents to have a Francophone school. Those who were there, I was there the first year. We were at the senior high school, Emerson Trimble, on the third floor. But before that, we were spread all over the city with a lot of pressure. The school was open. And then it became a junior high. And afterwards, it closed in 1998. And since then, it was destroyed and replaced by a warming system, a heating system for Churchill Hospital. We recognize that today, and a few existing person, Delard Leblanc, the high school principal, was there, and it was very nice. I want to mention the question of November the 11th. We have a celebration, no, a commemoration memorandum of the Arts and Culture Center, and I noticed on the media that Review will have their ceremony on their website. Moncton will have their True Rogers. I want to make sure that we should have a way that when Dieppe be put on the website through our website, Facebook, if it's possible. People of Dieppe would be interested to know that there was a ceremony since March, and that one is an important one. And lastly, I want to congratulate the people and the organizers of the book salon. I think it was a success considering all the obstacle that we had to fight since September because of the orange. They had to start over again. And I think it was a success by all the comments that I heard. And the Art Center helped very much by insisting on the opening of that Salon du Livre, the book salon. And we have to thank them for the partnership with the salon. That's all I have tonight, Your Worship. Thank you. My wallet could tell you that it was a good success. Mr. Cormier. Your Worship, I would simply like to invite the people of Dieppe to vote for the project of my sidewalk. It could be an important intergenerational project. Go ahead and vote for it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Leblanc. Your worship, I have nothing to add tonight. Thank you, Mr. Thibodeau. Thank you, your worship. I have 2 points. The first question tonight, when Luc Richard presented the file of the buses, he said we would find ourselves in a surprise with 2 buses that have to be replaced. These 2 buses parcel of our program. Yes, we have some money in reserve for the purchase of future bus. Is there? The challenge is to order and receive. It can take from 12 to 24 months. But if it's part of our management, asset management, shouldn't Transpo let us know about the condition of these buses ahead of time? We can do a follow-up, but there was kind of a surprise on the condition. Maybe it's worse than was foreseen. I'm not a mechanic, but that's what I was told. And my other point is, as you know, the Tree of Hope Radiothon will not be held this year. It was the main fundraising that they had. As I've said before, I accepted to have my head shaved to collect money for the Tree of Hope. You can sponsor me. It would be appreciated to reach my objective. You have until the 27th to make a donation. And normally I'll have my head shaved on the 25th. And you'll see it on the Tree of Hope platform and on my Facebook page. That's all, Your Worship. Thank you. Miss Arsenault. Your Worship. I want to strengthen the point. Councillor Godet, Councillor Cormier, it's very important. November the 11th is important for our veteran and for the population as a whole. But the sidewalk project is also interesting for the organization. It's beautiful. It's nice what happened in the USA, and happy to live in Canada, a country that has democracy. Thank you, Mr. Snow. Madame Leboutier. Thank you, Worship. First of all, I would like to start by congratulating one of our business person, Patty Cormier, with her team. Patty and her team won the business of the year, not only in New Brunswick, not only in Canada, but in North America. Congratulations. My other thing is I was approached in my involvement with Languette with the new policy Alto, the hourly rate that we charge for adults. For the first time, we changed the rate of a division we call open to Languette. And I wish we would look again at the situation and review the position with that group, that we look to have the same rate for Languette. And furthermore, I wish we would have a moratorium on that increase of ice rate as long as they remain in the New Brunswick and I get Lien. Why? Because the girls of that league for 80% are at university. They're not on the workforce. When I was approached, I said, yes, it's nice. But what happened elsewhere? And my other point is that we're the only municipality in New Brunswick in that division and PEI that charge a rate, a different rate. Everybody charges the same rate for everybody. There's not a different rate, let's put it that way. Members of that age this year have seen the association a reduction of 50% in registration. It's a level of age where they don't have the means to pay that amount. And I find that as a municipality, we look at parity in sports, and I think it's important to look and to have our team. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there is any sports team outside of the girl team in Dieppe. And we have to start promoting and give more chances for what it would require from Dieppe. If we look at the, and I get it starts at grade six, that we just finished the tournament, and each year we have a tendency to forget that tournament has more impact than a Canadian game. Last year there was 120 teams. 88 teams were coming from outside New Brunswick out of the 120. So it's a spin-off. It's a real uh, economic impact for the city of Dieppe that compensate. And that's the reason I wish we would look at it, not only the rate, but place a moratorium on that league because it's managed and they play and it's managed by Fredericton. That's what I'd like to bring forward.
Bien, on va demander aux gens de l'administration de
We'll ask the management people to look at on the issue, on the question.
constater au conseil.
Maybe they can bring an answer to the council. Thank you.
Moi, j'ai rien à ajouter.
I have nothing to add other than make a comment on the budget. Once again, I want to thank the staff, thank the municipal council
Pour une cinquième année,
for a fifth year,
cinquième année consécutive.
a fifth year in a row. If I'm not mistaken, we don't increase the tax rate. As such, we know that we're aware that evaluation in general in the city of Dieppe are going up from time to time according to provincial standards. That's something we don't control. Maybe in the future with the municipal restructuring, who knows? But once again, I think we're doing the job that we're being asked to do to control the expenses, the expenditures for the municipality, and to continue the progression of our community in a progressive and modern way and to support everybody. On that, we'll see if we can continue to support everybody. Mr. Benito, we almost forgot you. I don't know if you wanted to add something. Usually we don't talk after the boss, but we'll allow you this time. Thank you, Worship. I don't have much to add tonight. I just want to support comments by Mr. Cadet concerning the ceremony of Remembrance Day with our veterans in Dieppe. I think it would be worthwhile that we could broadcast it in some way, the ceremony, because each year it's always been a special time for the people of Dieppe, for our veterans, and all the military people who are working as volunteer. I'm glad Mr. Gadet brought it tonight. Moncton is doing it, and Review is doing it. And besides that, I have nothing else to add. Thank you to everyone, and good evening. Thank you once again for having mentioned our veterans. I went to the Wildcat hockey game the other night, and they mentioned Remembrance Day and who were the three flag bearer, three of our members of our association from Dieppe. We were glad to see them there, and they're among the most active one in the region. Would be a good thing to support them on that day. I know that the Art and Culture Center has a capacity of broadcasting. They did some concert everywhere. Maybe it's something that we can do. That being said, good evening, everyone, and we'll see you in a few weeks. Good night.